Hi, for this assignment, today I'll be telling you guys the story of my friend and his crazy ex-girlfriend. So earlier this year, I got my best friend Duran a job at HSN. And it was a pretty decent job, and we kind of liked it. And he told me about this girl that we worked with that he was talking to, and she thought she was great. Her name was Kim. Duran told me about Kim, and I kind of knew Kim because I trained her when she first joined, when she first started working here. So I decided, you know what, let me get them together. Duran and I have always done everything together. We've been through crappy relationships together. We've always done stuff together. I've always been a support system for him, and he's always been a support system for me. So when it came down to hooking him up, I didn't see a problem in it. I would eventually regret that decision. So I eventually got them together. They started dating, and I was really proud and happy for him. But I started noticing little red flags that didn't sit well with me. For example, Kim would get really possessive over him, or she wouldn't allow me to talk to him, or he would be too busy for me, but I just talked to him, and it was just really bad. So basically what happened was Duran got into a fight with his father, a very physical altercation, and it was just weird because it was about Kim. So apparently Kim was laid up in the bed, and Duran's father walked into the room and was like, how dare you be disrespectful? Because his father is very big on respect, which I understand. Duran tried to defend himself and his girlfriend, but sadly, Mr. Divers was not having it. Mr. Divers and Duran soon got into an argument, and Duran shoved him, and he fell. Duran's father calls the police on him, and Duran calls me. So I leave my grandfather's house immediately to go check on my best friend. So I get there, and Duran is upset, and he's hurt by all of this. And there's Kim, but oddly enough, she's too calm about what just happened. So I looked at her like something's not right. So then I told Duran he can come over to my house, and we talked, we laughed, we chatted, and just to get his mind over it, because I know he was going through a lot. I remember I gave him a hug, my mother gave him a hug, but Kim was oddly too calm in the situation, especially if you're the catalyst of it. Not a I'm sorry, not a nothing. So at work, we started working, and Kim would do little things to try to get me and Duran to fight. Now, Duran and I had never had an argument before until they got together. Kim would say one thing, but Duran would defend her. Kim would say something very disrespectful to me, and he would defend her. But as my friend, I would never say something to her out of respect. Kim would try to pick fights with the friends, and it was just a very bad experience. Kim soon started getting in between Duran and his sisters and his brother and his aunt, trying to really mess up their relationship. Now, Duran has always been close with his older sisters and brother. And so for him to say, I'm not speaking to them right now behind Kim, I knew something wasn't right. Kim would sometimes come up to me and say, what's your problem with me? Or are you jealous? How? I ain't jealous of you. And she was very intimidated by me because I've known Duran since we were in the 6th grade. That man literally saved my life. And I'll forever owe him for that. Other than that, it was a really dark space. So we went to North Carolina with our friend group, the Cut Up Crew. Hey. And I remember she tried to isolate him. Like every time me and Duran tried to go into a store that we liked, it was just terrible. It was never something fun or interesting or even remotely warm. And she was just really cold to us, especially his friends, since you're the newest one in the group. Like, you have to respect. Duran and Kim started going off and doing their own thing, which I expected. They're a couple. So I remember Duran, I asked him, hey, y'all having sex? Because I saw Kim trying to buy a box of condoms while we were in North Carolina, but I saw her put them down when I caught her. Because, like, girl, what you doing with them condoms? Put them down. No, like, I caught her, and she was like, oh, got defensive. I was like, I don't care if you're defensive or not. You're not going to ruin my best friend's life. Like, back up. So then, after that, she tried to be really dismissive. She would say, well, Duran's talking about you, or Duran doesn't want to be your friend no more. And when we worked together, it would be like my week to drive and then his week to drive. I was like, oh, that's funny. I just rode with him. And He never said he had an issue with me, but okay. So eventually I just was like, I gotta stay away from this girl. His aunt Jency and his mom called me over to her house and was like, look, Trey, we're worried about Duran. Like, he's going down a negative path. You know, he was arrested for assaulting his father. Like, it was a big deal. It was all behind this girl. And Aunt Jency like, Trey, be careful. This seems like the type of girl that she would trap him. And I was like, you know, you're kind of right. So time had passed, and a friend of mine named Jonas, who went to high school with Kim, was like, hey, I saw Kim and Duran hanging out. Are they together? What's the situation? I said, yeah, they're together. And Jonas told me straight up, watch out for her. She's crazy. Jonas told me that Kim used to date one of Jonas's friends. And when Jonas's friend wasn't really feeling her and tried to break up with her, she offered him a ride so they can talk, since apparently she likes to talk and drive. And during that time, I was very skeptical of like, what is this? What's going on? And Jonas explained that Kim crashed her car into a ditch with the guy in the car. Now, I didn't believe the story, so I looked it up, and there was a police report. My father, a cop, asked him to look it up, and there was a police report. And the guy was badly injured. He broke his arm, fractured his hand, and then broke his leg from the way they landed into the ditch. Now, I was curious, so I messaged the guy, and he said, yeah, I remember when Kim and I tried to explain to her that I didn't want to be with her. I remember she got really angry, and then I remember she started speeding up, and I remember I heard my seatbelt unbuckle. Next thing you know, I was in a ditch. We were in a ditch. And I was like, wow. So I knew something wasn't right. Some time had passed, and I knew Duran was just still going down a dark path. He wasn't really talking to me. He wasn't eating. I mean, he realized that, you know, he has no family right now because they're all mad at him through his girlfriend. So I was like, Duran, no matter what you do, no matter what you say, I will always support you and be your friend. You know, Kim was just really mean to me, but I could care less because I ain't going nowhere. That's my road dog. I've known him since we were 10 and 11. Here we are 20. I ain't going nowhere. So I remember I asked Duran one more time, I was like, are y'all having sex? And he was like, yeah, she told me not to tell you because she didn't want you in our business. She's always upset about you hanging out with me. She doesn't understand where our friendship comes from. She thinks I'm jealous. I was like, oh, so she wants to get popped. So basically, Duran was just very, like apologetic, and he tried to inform me of some stuff. So the relationship started to suffer when Duran started speaking up for himself. Like, no, I'm going to hang out with my boys. I'm going to hang out with my friend. I'm going to go do this, that, and the other. And she didn't like that. So I remember one time on Snapchat, she posted, never let a man put his hands on you, alleging that Duran was abusing her. And that pissed me off because Duran is a gentle giant. He would never hurt anybody, especially a woman. And I was like, is she crazy? And she is. So I confronted her like, look, you got to stop what you're doing. And she showed me bruises. And I was like, that's not, Duran would never do that. He said, well, he did. And you don't know him. I was like, I've known this man since we were 10. We've been fighting people. We've been clowning around. We were doing everything together. So I really don't appreciate you saying my friend is abusing you, because that's not the case. So Duran, was like, Kim, I don't appreciate you saying that. And she says, well, if you and I start hanging out again and having sex again, I'll stop. And so in order for the rumors to stop, he complied, putting himself in a pickle. So I was really annoyed with Kim. I was like, this girl's trying to ruin your life, stupid. Like, no. So Kim was, just being really disrespectful to me. And I had no time for it. I had no patience for it. So the relationship started to suffer again. We started speaking up and wanted to hang out with me. She was trying to set me up with some like losers, saying Trey needs to get a hobby. Why does he care so much? And I told her straight up, you're the problem. Like, that's my best friend. I'm not going to let no stranger get hurt, especially behind something you've said and done. So Duran got sick of it, and then all of a sudden, she texted Duran, I missed my period. And I about had a heart attack. And I was mad at Duran, like, you shouldn't have been doing what you've been doing. You got so much to lose. You're not ready for no baby. And he was upset with me, like, why are you telling me this right now? I might be a dad. It's like, I'm gonna love that kid to death because that's gonna be my nephew, but I don't like the mama. And he was like, that's true. So eventually they talked, and come to find out she lied after feeling Duran would leave her. So Duran was like, I'm done. He broke up with her, and it was peace back in the world. But Kim wasn't done yet. So we have a coworker, her name was Amy, and she would kind of play mediator between me and her and Duran, because she's like, I support young love, and I get where you're coming from, Trey, being the friend who sees something wrong. And although Amy was Kim's friend, she would tell me, like, yeah, Kim is crazy. So Kim told Amy that she was aware of what she was doing, that she purposely isolated Duran from family and friends so he would never leave her, as like a tactic. And she said that I would be the final straw, that if I was the last person to leave him, he would have no one else to go to. That's why she did the family and the friends first. The family and then the friends. And Duran and I didn't have a lot of friends. We share the same 4 friends since middle school and high school. And her plan was working. 2 of the other friends fell out with Duran behind her, but we all rallied together. It was like, look, y'all, I know what's going on. We got to support our friend. He's hurting right now. Regardless of how you feel about her, he needs us. And she admitted to that. So Duran confronted her, and he's like, why would you do that? And she was like, it's none of your business. I loved you. You got to get back together with me. I'm not crazy. And I was like, yes, you is. And you're leaving my friend alone. And she did not like that, y'all. So Duran was like, I'm done with you. I want my hoodie back. So Duran and I go to her house, go get her hoodie. And she has a box full of stuff, everything he's given her. And she has receipts from like Walmart, when they bought like some candy, when they went to Cookout a couple times, everything. And it was just like, girl, what? And I was like, yeah, this hoe right here. And it was just bad. So after a while, everything seemed right in the world. Duran was let back in his house. The charges against him were dropped from his father. And Duran's mom, Miss Divers, was walking their dog when she noticed a light blue Jeep parked at the end of the street. And the Jeep started moving. And at first, like, where do I know that car from? And it was Kim driving by. And one of the neighbors said, yeah, I've seen this car almost every day for the last 2 weeks, driving by at crazy hours. His Aunt Jen, so I called his Aunt Jen. She's like, hey, have you seen a blue Jeep? He's like, yeah, there's one in front of the house right now. Whose is it? Is it yours, Trey? No, it's Kim's. And she was like, oh, no. Kim knew where I was, because right after Duran got into the fight with his father, she came over, and he came over to talk, chill, because Duran was going to live with me until he figured everything out. But he actually ended up staying with his Aunt Jency. That's how Kim found out where his aunt lived. So she drove by my house, and I was not playing. I showed up at the end of the street like, is there a problem? And that was it. Kim soon went on a smear campaign against Duran, alleging abuse, but people didn't believe it because I was the main one speaking up for my friend. Like, you ain't gonna do that. You ain't gonna slander my friend's name. This is not what we about to do. And that's when we cut it. And that's the type of friend that I am. You know, Duran is free of Kim. It's been almost 4 months, and he's happier than ever. I'm still a little worried about her coming around since I'm down here, and she knows I was going to school. But I know Duran is strong enough, and I also think he doesn't want to repeat himself again. But other than that, you know, I'm happy for him. He's my bro, and I'm glad that him and I got through the situation together, because at the end of the day, this girl was crazy, and it felt like for a while, we were in a Lifetime movie. Now, there's other details I left out, but if you want to hear the rest, come and holler at me. I'll happily tell you. I'm thinking about putting it in a book. Thank you.